I'm just gonna bring us in. This is gonna be very free form today. You know, this is gonna be amorphous. It's gonna be we're gonna explore the space. We're gonna explore the podcast space. Welcome to Talking Reckless Podcast. I better get my notes open. I don't even know what episode it is.
Did we do a show
3,
since
4, 5?
the Game Awards?
Yes. Yeah, we talked about the announcements.
Okay.
Yeah. 3, 4, 5. Kevin Byer.
3, 4, 5. Matt Eads.
That sounds correct. What do you think, Oliver Aguilar?
Indeed, 345. 345er, as they say in the military.
And can we get the confirmation from Brandon Lynch?
345. I do confirm.
Okay. Whew. That'd be.
Are we doing Crimson Tide right now?
Yeah, I don't know.
You guys watch Crimson Tide?
No. Is that a movie about
No.
boats?
I think it's
yeah,
a
about
submarine
subs.
movie.
Okay.
It's Denzel and Gene Hackman, and like one of them has to say the command, and then the executive guy, who's Denzel, has to repeat the command and say "I confirm," which sounded
yeah.
exactly the bit you were leading me into.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "These fucking nerds have never seen Crimson Tide. What the fuck am I doing?"
It's the prequel to
Somebody's-
Crimson Skies. Crimson Tide.
He's been pushing me into watching Hunter Killer this week.
Hunter Killer?
It's also a submarine movie starring Gerard Butler.
Oh,
But
shit.
You're talking
yeah,
about
on the topic of submarine movies,
Isn't that the name of the Al Pacino show about hunting the Nazis? Isn't
Yeah,
that?
in submarines.
I think that's something in the
Hunters.
Man in the Tower.
No, Hunters,
No,
Brandon?
there's one. I think there's one called Hunters, which is Al Pacino.
Oh yes.
And then there's-
yeah.
One called The Hunting, maybe, which is a movie that just came out on Crave, or The Hunted.
I guarantee these are
Hunter
all
Killer
movies.
Yeah.
Hunts, hunting, huntings, hunted, hunteds, huntingids, huntedings. Welcome to the show.
And then The Hunt for Red October, yeah.
Yeah,
So obviously
classic.
the one that brings it all back together.
I've actually never
That's
seen
right.
it. You think it holds up? And I thought about watching it when Sir Sean passed away.
Yeah, I watched it in school in grade either 7, 8, or 9. Because I was in
Did
junior
it have
high.
educational
and
value?
I think it was supposed to, but I didn't take anything from it. I just watched Last Crusade, though, Indiana Jones, with
Nice.
Sir Sean in it.
Oh yeah, that's the immortality one, right? The cup,
Yes.
Grail.
Yeah.
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 Holy Grail.
He gets shot, and then Indy's got to go get the Grail to heal him.
Heck of a. This
Heck of a-
I don't know if we're gonna have a Tron. I was telling these fellas before you might get a little bit of a free Tron here, just tacked on. It's gonna be last show before holidays, before official holidays. You're not gonna, as Kevin pointed out, actually you will hear from us this week because it's Monday by the time this goes up. But the show after Christmas we'll miss, and then back on as soon as we can after that. It's unprecedented.
I had to double check with Eads. Like, are we still doing the show tonight? And he responds, he's like, "What? Yes, why wouldn't we be?" I'm like, "Well, because you said you're taking next week off, and the show goes up on Monday. So therefore, if you're taking next week off, then that should mean that the podcast isn't happening. But then it is, and I apparently don't know how time works."
It's very confusing when we live in this quantum state of always and never podcasting. But yes, we'll not be here next week. Not gonna do anything. Not gonna play a video game. I'm just gonna go up on the
Play
roof
video
and
games.
no, I'm gonna shovel off the roof, lay out like a beach towel, get a little sun. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
+2.
It's
+2
Tis
degrees.
the time. Is the time of year to make it as easy for the Lord to take you as possible.
That's right.
Get up high, go limp,
In the cold.
just hope for the rapture.
I've never really. I mean, I've taken days off here and there, obviously, but I've never taken like a solid 7 days where I am intentionally planning on not doing or thinking about anything work related in a really long time. So it's gonna be weird.
I'm actually truly fascinated. What are you going to do
Yeah, I was
with a
about to
week
say the
off,
same thing.
where you're trying to avoid video
I
games?
mean, when I say not play video
Yeah.
games, I'll probably still play Destiny. That doesn't really count. I'll probably just play a lot of
Right,
Destiny.
Right,
you know?
Destiny is a lifestyle,
Always
Yeah.
play
not a
Destiny.
video game.
That's ABD. That's what they say.
You should just go get on all your streaming platforms and just make big old fucking lists, and then just wall to wall movies. I dream of those days. Where it's like I'm going to go home and literally bang 9 films off between when I wake up and when I go to bed.
Streaming. So when you said streaming platform,
like
I'm like, yes,
and,
my Twitch and my OnlyFans and my Facebook. Did you see there was a big? Speaking of OnlyFans, did you see that Pornhub purged like what was I reading? Like 65% of all its content or something? Just
I heard about
overnight.
That. It was like
what was that all about?
8 point something. They used to have like 8 point something million videos, I think, and then they're down to like 1.8. It was
a sizable amount. I started like typing some funky shit into the search bar just to test it, and I couldn't get anything.
OnlyFans.
It's literally got to be like man and woman sex will return 1 million things. Yeah. You get anything more specific than that, they're like, no, man, we're out.
Yeah, just type in missionary sex for the purpose of making children.
Yes. Everybody right side up.
Neutral expressions.
Like, we got you.
Completely
we got
neutral.
You. But if you're like, maybe the guy does some stuff with his tongue, they're like, whoa, stop.
No.
You're looking for red tube, son. Don't tell anyone you were here.
I missed that entire conversation. I had to run after a troublemaking cat who was like really coming to her own as just a shit disturber these last 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking about pussy, so it all...
Oh, yeah. Good enough.
There you go.
All fits together. How's everybody's weeks been? What y'all been up to? How are your lives?
Fuck.
Yeah, big mood, y'all.
Guys.
Fucking big mood.
I'm also taking this week, next week off of my day job.
Hell yeah.
And everybody always asks, oh, like, what are you going to do? I'm like, nothing, man. Like, there's literally nothing to do. I'm going to try to play video games, and that's about it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting that Brando asked you what you were doing with their time off, because usually when people take time off, they, like, sit and watch TV and play video games, whereas you're not going to.
I'm going to get Clone Wars done. I got a lot of Clone Wars to watch.
How's the adventure going? Warren's fucking trouncing it too. We use the stupid Disney Party Watch for the first time ever.
Oh shit! I was fucking around with that.
It was inconsistent.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was one of those, like, once you're in, you're good, and you can watch like episode after episode in a row, and it works flawlessly. But we were sending each other back like 15 links trying to set it up, and
oh yeah. The Clone Wars is good. Clone Wars is very good. That first season sucks. You skip to the second season. Honestly, like, you don't miss jack shit in that first season. There is zero. Nothing. There's literally nothing in that first season that you miss, and like later in the series, you're like, oh, this crazy. It's like cartoon of the week, monster of the week. I would recommend a watch guide because it turns out you can skip almost like 70% of that show because there's a lot of filler. And after you watch a couple of the filler episodes, because when people are like, use a watch guide, I was like, absolutely not. I need to know. I have to see every single thing.
That's me. That's who I am.
Yeah, tried and failed. Like, okay, Jar Jar and C-3PO are off on their like 8-episode fucking buddy cop arc.
Oh, that's the episodes that I want to see.
Well, I've got great news for you, Kevin, because there's a lot of them, but didn't
a lot of the first season.
Didn't make it through season 1, and then retried with the watch guide. Having seen the filler episodes and watching past them, it's like, oh yeah, you can totally just skip so much of this.
Yeah.
But
it's like a lot of shows, I think, where if you go back to them well after the fact, you're like, there's a lot of fucking just bullshit in here. Whereas probably when they first started making that show, they're like, I don't know, we're making a weekly cartoon for kids.
Yeah.
Gotta keep like pumping them out.
1,000%. You can totally see it too. Like, the voice acting in season 1 is really bad in some spots. But now I'm almost at the end of season 3, and I'm into the real shit. We're seeing and discussing things I saw in Fallen Order, and I'm like, oh, I know some things now. My boy Cal Lightsaber
the watch guide probably gets a lot more thin. Well, not thin. It probably cuts a lot less fat off those later seasons too.
Yeah. Yeah, the guide for the later seasons are like skip the first 6 or 7 episodes and then just watch the latter half of the season, basically.
Right.
But yeah, it's very good. And I was surprised. Warren is like halfway through season 2 almost. He's like,
Yeah, and he's watching all of them, I think.
yeah, he went from not watching it last week or the week before because I had seen some shit basically in Clone Wars. I'm like, oh, Warren, you have to just watch these episodes. And he's like, oh, I'm not. Well, I'm gonna wait till. I forget what he said. Like, he's going to wait till Mandalorian season 19 is done so that he can finish Mando and then go watch it after. But now he's in it.
Oh, yeah, he's crushing. Good, too, because we watched Mandalorian, which I'll avoid spoilers, but featured in that show is the Darksaber a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
And he watched the episode just by happenstance right before we watched the finale of Mandalorian. Where they first introduced the Darksaber in Clone Wars. So,
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
it was one of those. Oh, what are the odds?
It's a good.
Set them
That's like one of the first really good arcs.
Yeah.
Mando's. I guess I shouldn't say anything. Never mind. It finished yesterday. What a season!
Yeah.
What a season!
It's a heck of a season.
Yeah. Very excited to see the next thing they make.
The Book of... well, maybe I won't even say that.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's why I pulled back last second there. Kevin, how's your week been? What you been doing?
Not a whole lot. Still working from home, not taking next week off like apparently everyone else in the world. I had moments of panic this week because I sent out Christmas presents for my nieces like 2.5 weeks ago, and they still hadn't been delivered.
Ooh.
So I had to email the company and use all of my clout because I used my work corporate account to send the shipment over. So I had to use all of my work clout and be like, yo, my company does literally millions of dollars of business with you, and you lost my fucking package. So you better find it and get it delivered.
And
I didn't quite use all of those phrases, but they found it the next day and delivered it the next day.
Every initial you can think of to put in front of your doctor, Kevin,
yeah, exactly.
the honorable
Sir, King, Emperor, ruler of the known universe. But yeah, they found it. They found it literally the next day and delivered it the next day. So
Good.
Proof
Here
that
it is, Mr.
all of this
Mr.
shit.
Kevin.
Proof that if you ever lose a package, the more important you are, the faster you will get it found.
Yeah, weird.
They
Weird,
probably
almost-
just like took the shipping info off some poor person who ordered that for their niece, and they're like, give it to the rich guy who does all the business with this.
Yeah, they're like, this box looks relatively the same size. Let's just put the package on and hope it's something good enough.
Yeah.
Or they're going through all the boxes and be like, okay, this one's Christmas presents. Okay, this one's Christmas presents. And be like, all right, well, this box of Christmas presents will now go to these people.
No.
I mean, unless you see the gift, you'd be like, oh, wow, Uncle Kevin, thanks for the great gift. And like, oh, it was I don't know, I got my 5-year-old niece a crock pot or something. Darning needles.
If she wants a crock pot, who am I to judge?
Yeah,
It was on her list.
Sound
so
investment.
I got her crock pot.
Every kitchen should have one.
Exactly.
You guys asked for
I don't
anything
have
good
a
for
crock pot.
Christmas?
No, I'm the person who doesn't ask for anything. What if we just didn't do gifts?
I don't ask for anything, but some people just have families that'll make them.
It's true.
Yeah, my
You're
family
getting
absolutely
something,
does that.
so- Yeah.
I've tried for many years to be like, yeah, maybe let's just get the gifts for the girls. Like, let's not do gifts for the older generation. And that has never worked. Every time I'm just like, well, maybe just don't get me any gifts this year. And no, we need a list. We need to get you something. You got to open something on Christmas morning. It's not the same. It just doesn't work.
That's how Amber's family is with us. We insist on not giving gifts because, really. But yeah, it's exactly the same thing. It's like, it's not really Christmas if you don't have anything to open.
That's like arguably the complete opposite of what actually it being Christmas would be.
Yeah.
If you want to get down.
Exactly.
Well, I mean,
what
it's not like
what
we're
was-
going to
what was-
church and
What was Jesus like? Whoa, hang on, wait, I've nothing to open. This motherfucker's not. You
This
can't
isn't-
call this Christmas.
hey, that's why everyone
This
showed up
really
with
isn't my
presents.
birthday.
It's true.
Showed up
Myrrh
for
and stuff.
Jesus' birthday and gave him some sweet frankincense.
Yeah.
Jesus was like, "Man, this shit
I,
smells great. I'm gonna put it on my desktop table."
That I built. Jesus
'Cause
the
I'm a
carpenter.
Yeah, that's right. See, it all works out.
This might be the year for presents, and I'm firmly with you guys on the whole. Like, what if no one got anyone presents, and then we embrace the gift of laziness
Hell yes.
coming up to the holiday season? But I feel like we've stripped away literally every part of Christmas this year, except for the potential to get something from someone else. So
Socks is usually my go-to. If somene's like, "You're getting something, what do you
Socks
need?"
is
I'm like,
good,
"I
yeah.
always could use socks. I love getting socks as an old man."
I asked for an air popper,
Yeah.
popcorn popper
Oh,
this
yeah.
year, and it is probably the best gift I've ever asked for in 7 years of being asked for Christmas gifts. Like, since I started being able to buy stuff for myself, I've never had a good answer when people ask me what I want for Christmas. I'm like, I don't know, gift card. Give me a Walmart gift card or something. Somewhere I can, something as close to cash as possible without being cash. And then this year it was just like popped into my head. I'm like, I want an air popper. And everyone's like, oh, that's great. Yeah, we'll get it. So now I'm going to get 4 air poppers.
Getting way into air popcorn.
Yeah.
Air pop popcorn's
Yeah. I
really
like-
good though.
I really like fucking just sitting down with some either booze or weed, a bunch of popcorn, and a movie.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, that'll happen. I can crush like a full thing of popcorn just on any given sitting. It's like, oh, you got a big thing of popcorn? Okay, I'll eat the whole thing.
Well, it's
Yeah,
like
just a
you,
comically big bowl.
yeah, you can eat like 10 cubic meters of popcorn, and it's only like 50 calories of food because it's all, it's
Yeah.
popcorn.
I
Dissolves to
can
nothing.
easily eat a bag of popcorn bigger than myself.
I don't know about easily, but I bet I could also eat a bag. Your mouth would be so raw by the end. His gums cut. My sister got me a
I do
gift
not think I could do that.
that I have not opened yet, saving for so that I have something to open on Christmas. Saving for
Aw.
Christmas. I thought about putting
What
up
if
a
it
little.
sucks?
What if it sucks? I don't know. What it won't be my first Christmas gift
Then
I've
wouldn't-
got that
wouldn't-
sucked.
Wouldn't
No.
you have rather opened it not on Christmas?
I'm just gonna tear
Like
it up in
ruin
front of
your
her.
day?
Like, what the fuck is this garbage? I fleetingly today actually thought about like maybe I'll get a little tree. Well, it started with lights. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get some string lights. I'm gonna put them up. I'm gonna holiday this place up a little bit, and then realize that is effort. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
What about tree? You know what? I'll just put up a little plastic tree, and well, I mean, then I gotta go get a tree and put. Maybe I'll just. Hey, who cares? Whatever. Next
It's
year.
impossible to get
Yeah.
any fucking motivation right now.
Yeah, it's true. Especially like we're almost at the darkest day of the year here. We had like 3 hours of sunlight today. It was pretty cool. Actually, it was overcast, so we didn't have a lot of sun. But
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot out there. I napped through half of it.
yeah, I had a nap today too. It was awesome. Got
I love
up,
a nap.
made breakfast, had a nap. Fuck this.
This place sucks.
This
Everywhere
place
sucks.
sucks.
Go back to bed.
Yep.
Put on the third Indiana Jones movie. I'm already done the first 2.
You gonna watch the fourth, Crystal Skull?
Not immediately. I might watch it before that new one comes out, which will probably also be bad. But
Yeah, Crystal Skull was not great. I remember seeing that in the theaters. What about video games, y'all? Been playing any of those? I've played
we had a
none.
big
I can-
CyberPunk talk yet,
Not really. I sort
haven't.
of went off.
nor do I
on-
really need to.
Well, we got a lot of news. Well, it is the news story this week is Cyberpunk, so we will have a lot of Cyberpunk talk.
Okay. Well, then maybe I'll save it here. I played Destiny with you.
hmm
You Matt Eats. We dipped our toes into the.
Dumped.
I said dumped our toes into the new raid, which I think is really neat.
Yeah, it's cool.
We still have not seen half of it, but I think it's a really. It seems like a really cool raid.
Did you guys get back into the Deepstone Crypt the next day?
Yeah, we were running it with some other guy. We didn't beat that encounter, but we got it. We got the boss to like just you could barely see his health on the fucking bar in the last phase, and then we know we can do it. We just got to jump back in and need the pieces to fall for us. But
yeah, it seems cool. We did the first boss and then worked on the second one, and it's like mechanically it's I think really interesting where you go to space. I don't know if that's a spoiler, but you go to space.
And not like most of Destiny is bosses like teleporting you different places. You like have to take like a shuttle up to space during the raid.
You teleport yourself, basically. Yeah, that second encounter is cool. Where like I don't even have the full grasp of it, but there's a team in space and a team down on the planet, and the team on the planet is like moving bombs up to space so that we can shoot them out an airlock, and it's got a lot going on, but it was cool.
Yeah, I'm super into like so for people who haven't played Destiny raids, they're all I shouldn't say all of them because I haven't even played all of them, but they are all kind of just slowly doling out a mechanic from the very beginning and then adding to that mechanic with each encounter and then kind of combining all the mechanics for the final raid boss. And I just think the mechanics that they're using in this raid appeal to me a lot more than the ones that they had been using in prior raids. Like I was not the last one I did was the Garden of Salvation, where they were doing a lot of the stuff with the moats and depositing the moats in the banks and using buffs to take down enemy shields and tethers. I didn't really like any of that. This one is a lot more buffs that give you specific powers, like give one guy who's holding them specific powers. So the power to shoot things that activate things in the area. You're the only one who can shoot it if you have this buff. And then there's another buff that lets you see things that other people can't see in the area. My favorite part of these raids is the communication aspect. I'd rather than make it harder because you can't communicate well than make it harder by just introducing harder enemies. Because I can get that in any other part of Destiny. So this one's doing it for me. And normally when I put a whole day in and don't get a whole lot accomplished, I am very much like, I might just not ever do this again in my life. But this was a raid that when we stopped playing it, I was like thinking about it the next day, being like, I kind of want to get another crack at that fucking one thing. I know we can do it. We're right there.
Yeah. The our time in there completely dispelled me of the illusion that we would ever go into one of these raids blind and just figure it out. Because like even as we're going through those mechanics, I'm like, how the fuck do people ever figure this out in the first place? Like, how do people figure out the 18-step process of like? Because that first encounter, even there's just like there are 3 areas in the room, and there are like I don't know 15 of these fucking panels, and some things are moving around. All right, figure it out. And like even knowing what to do, it took us like quite a long time to be like, oh, okay, I gotta go like get everything in order and execute on it in a way that like how do I am so amazed. Despite Destiny in particular, like World of Warcraft is usually just kind of a numbers check for a lot of stuff, but Destiny is always these like 12-step arcane processes of at least with the tethers, it was obvious of like connect these 2 things. Like A needs to connect to B, figure out how to do that. In Deepstone Crypt, it's just like, I think we need to get to space. I don't really know.
Yeah, like it's a lot of like to go into one of those blind, just the process of figuring out what a buff does could be several rounds. Being like, oh, this panel's glowing. Why is this panel glowing? Oh, I don't know. And then this other time, like how many times do you run it before you realize like, okay, the guy who has the scanner buff can see glowing panels. The guy who has the operator buff can shoot the panels. But these guys can't do this because this door is locked, and these guys can't. Like, to get to the part where all you have to do is execute, just the learning part, just seems like if we went in blind would be hours and hours and hours, and it already takes us hours and hours on the execution side. So
we took like 15 minutes to just agree on like how we were gonna number the fucking panels. In a way, and I was so mad. I was so mad too because we were like, we had numbers. We had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or whatever. And then someone at some point is like, what if we call this one triangle? Like, just threw in a random shape or something. Fucking stick to the goddamn number!
No, it makes perfect
and
sense.
then
You've been learning it one way for the first 10 minutes of the raid. Let's just change it up. It'll be easier.
Yeah, it's even like sometimes like our buddy Andy, who is the only one who had really gone through the videos, so he was kind of teaching us this stuff. Very first thing out of his mouth when we're in that first encounter is like, okay, so we need to split into two teams of three, and it's just a fucking process. It's just like, okay, I'm gonna go over here, and then okay, there's 5 guys on this side. We need 2 guys to go over here. 4 guys run through the door to the other side, and you're just immediately like, this just isn't gonna work. We can't even get into groups of 3.
I was kind of pleasantly surprised that we got that first encounter down.
Well, and we would have had that one down so early, but we were just doing something not execution-wise, I think fundamentally wrong, where you basically get to the part where there's these 6 big test tube-looking things that you can shoot, and we were shooting one, blowing it up during the damage phase, feeling really good about ourselves, and then getting ready for the next run we had to do to open the tubes again. And we did that forever, and then finally realized that once you break one tube, there's a second tube that you can also damage, which then I think after we learned that, I think 2 runs later we had it. But it's those frustrating little things that you can just spend a couple hours on before it clicks in your head like, oh, we can be doing twice as much damage as we're doing now.
Destiny raids. I still want to get in and see that Deep Zone Crypt stuff, but I'm gonna wait. I think like a couple weeks until everyone is like just has it down, and then just like last Salvation or whatever. Just let them carry me through it. I just kind of want to get that exotic at the end.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like what you're in it for, because I think the reason why I'm really enjoying this is because I'm like, okay, we're all like, none of us are pros at this thing, and it's fun trying to like trudge your way through. But I totally get if it's like, how much time do you want to commit to Destiny versus how much reward do you want from Destiny, like actual rewards from the video game, then your best bet is to just wait until people are running it every week and could do it with 4 people. And then you'd be like, well, I'm just going to come in and be the 5th guy.
Yeah. That's my plan. Find a nice group of 5. They're like, hey, number 6, huh? My light's real high because I play a lot. Just get me in here. I don't know. I'm in the grind phase now with Destiny, so I'm probably gonna just try to grind out some. I just want exotics now. That's all I need. I just want some cool armors for my warlock and some guns, I guess. I don't know.
And I'm on the complete opposite side of the coin as you, where it's like I have no reason to play Destiny except to beat that raid once and then not play the Destiny again until there's new content.
Trials. Speaking of new content, Trials with Cyrus is open, baby. We got to get in there.
New content.
We got to. They say different stuff now, at least. Saint 14 died and came back to life in the lore. So he. I also know a lot about that's what I do now. I put on a Destiny lore video and I just grind Destiny. And when I said I was getting way into Destiny like a month ago, I was not fucking around. I'm like probably 100 hours into this new expansion, and there's not 100 hours of content. That's for fucking sure. What else are we playing here, Brando?
I did downloaded the. I kind of actually finally took a peek in what came with the new PlayStation Plus. There's a lot of games on PlayStation Plus for the PlayStation 5. I assume for the 4 as well. Like God of War and stuff that you can just download for free.
Yeah, you have to have a PlayStation 5 to have access to that.
Is it? That's the part I didn't know. I know you have to have PlayStation Plus. But there's a lot of good games on there. Like, not as much for people like us who just play everything as soon as it's released. But if you got PlayStation 5 now for the first time and got PlayStation Plus, you can play the original Last of Us, God of War.
Red Dead 2 I think is on
Clank on there. Red Dead 2 might be on there. There's a lot of
Uncharted
good games. Until Dawn, which was one of my favorites when it came out.
Yeah, it's their kind of
yeah.
It's like their Game Pass sort of.
Right, which when you put it side by side with Game Pass, it doesn't hold a candle. But when you didn't know it existed and kind of stumble upon it, and I'm like, oh, look at this fucking Thumper. I want to play me some fucking Thumper.
Thumper's pretty good. I don't know.
Thumper's really good.
Yeah.
Um,
PSVR headset on.
So I played the Crash Bandicoot Insane. That's N''sane.
And
That's a person's name, I think.
Trilogy.
Right?
Well, I think the bad guy's whole gimmick is an N, I think.
Cortex.
check that for
Dr.
me.
Neocortex.
Yeah, there you go. So I'm playing through that, and those games, I remember those games being good. I don't want anyone to think I'm disparaging the historic lineage of Crash Bandicoot, but it's really tough to go back and play those games now.
Running at a
they
camera
are-
can fuck off.
Like we spend so much time like complaining like this game feels like a PS2 game, and then I went back and actually played a PS2 game or a PlayStation 1 game in some cases, and it's like I can't. This game is not supposed to be hard, but my brain has stopped working on a PlayStation 2 level.
Yeah. It was hard back in the day. Also, like PlayStation 2. Weren't all three of these games on PlayStation 1?
They might be, yeah. I'm not sure where the cutoff was.
Yeah, but even like in whatever year it was, 2000, whatever, like running towards the camera and not being able to see jumps and just like having to be like, oh, well, I've played this level 500 times, so I know I have to jump, and then there's going to be a TNT thing I got to get over, and like, I never thought Crash Bandicoot was very good, I guess.
I would also like to say I played a lot of that game, and there's I think been 2 instances where I had to run towards the camera. I think that's something that people remember about Crash Bandicoot that is not actually a very high percentage of the game, but
In my
is
head,
a
it's like
terrible percentage of the game.
99%. It's like
No,
every
you're-
level has a
you're-
like, we got to run from the thing at the end. Ah!
No, you're almost always either moving away from the camera, or like doing like kind of side-scrolling platform bits.
Yeah.
But then, yes, there are 2 specific levels where the whole level is just run away from the camera.
Do you know Dr. Neocortex's middle name is Periwinkle? Neo Periwinkle Cortex?
I didn't.
Also, here,
I should
second
get
question.
back in there and learn
Can you
more
hear
about
my
this.
squeaky mouse wheel picking up on the...
Oh yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Lube that baby up.
Yeah, I gotta get something for it. Chinese mice. We just call them mice here, but make them cheap in China, apparently.
That's all I played.
Yeah?
I
and-
played Demon Souls.
Oh,
I
shit.
beat the Tower Knight.
Okay, on your way to the...
I've gotten to and died to the Armored Spider, and that was my
Okay.
my last. But I would not say I'm stuck on the Iron Spider yet. I have only thrown myself at him, I think, twice.
Yeah, he's pretty easy in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
I'm right after. I'm waiting for you to finish the Armored Spider, and then I'll keep moving. But I'm post-Spider.
Hell yes.
You figured out to go to a different Archstone, eh? You figured out to gotta go to 2-1 and kind of check things out.
Yes. Yeah. Which I think I was always gonna do. I kind of played through all of the ones a little bit before I even got far in 1-2.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I wonder if there's like dope weapon. The weapon I'm using now, I got in like 3-1.
Which weapon? Falchion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Falchion Plus, I think it's called.
Ah,
It's
what
got a
is it?
plus at the
Just-
end.
Yeah,
Something Falchion
something
Plus.
Falchion. I can't remember,
Yeah.
but that is a very good weapon that a lot of people go grab real early.
And it scales to magic, which is the only thing it tells me about that weapon. So I've just been dumping points into magic. And when that fails, then I will probably have hit a wall in that game and quit.
Big magic build. Magic is kind of the, like, a lot of people are like, oh, you played magic, huh? The easy mode. I mean, I'm playing a royal right now. But magic, whew, makes that game so much more bearable, especially your first time through. We're like, all right,
Let me
it's
tell
easy,
you this.
man.
If they're going to put something in the game that's going to make it easy, I'm going to fucking do it.
Hell yeah.
Does it just make like regular encounters easier, or does it like the boss fights are even super easier too?
Both. I find. I mean, depends on the boss and everything, but like regular
Yeah,
encounters
I
are a
find that-
joke because you're just like,
Yeah.
pew,
You
you're
can-
dead. Pew, you're dead.
It's like it's kind of the only way to do infinite ranged attacks, and a lot of the enemies that you fight don't have any ranged attacks, so you can kind of just stay away from them and shoot your fucking magic at them.
Yeah, it's very, very strong. Like that armored spider fight, I just found a spot to stand and just shot spells until the fight was over. And it didn't seem like he could really hit me. So, yep, that soul arrow's all I need, baby. Yep. See you at the end of the game. There's a greater soul arrow somewhere. I know that much. But
you hooked me up when you found that.
Yeah, I know there is a weapon somewhere in 5.1. Apparently the like super weapon, I think it's 5.1. I don't remember what it is, but we were talking about it in the Discord. Are you looking for that kind of that kind of leg up of like, if you run to this particular spot, there's a spot I think in 5.1 you can run in and grab a very, very powerful weapon, but you gotta kind of know the route. Like you gotta kind of look it up ahead of time. You're like, oh, okay, I gotta fall off this thing, and
it'll be the kind of thing where like I'll come and be like, I don't know what else to do, and then you can hit me with a you know what you should do, go do this thing. But like when I was playing Sekiro, I was not afraid to, and obviously Sekiro's a different game, even in the way it's laid out. But in Sekiro, I was not afraid to take every advantage of every corner that a boss couldn't hit you in. I had no shame. And those are like the game designer probably would have taken them out if they knew they existed. But like the magic is like, yeah, you can have magic.
You should
try whatever you want.
If you like feeling like you are getting one up on the game, you should try chain backstabbing. Once you learn how to do it, the world is your oyster. Any medium-sized enemy.
I'm not having hardly any trouble with anything other than bosses.
Yeah, you can backstab bosses.
Partially because of the magic.
A lot of bosses you can backstab.
I backstab the spider? Doesn't seem like it.
No, the big ones usually not, but anything human-sized you can probably backstab. Kevin, what you been up to? What you been playing, Kevin?
Well, I played a little bit more Vermintide 2. Actually, yesterday, after doing some streaming. That game's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine to get together with some peeps and murder some rats.
It's like just enough kind of forced teamwork where you have to help your allies to make it feel like you're doing something together, but also you gotta just kill zombies or vermin.
we tried doing some of the higher difficulties to force ourselves to stick together and not everybody just run off to their own little thing and be a hero and just kill endless hordes of enemies with little to no repercussions. Turns out higher difficulties actually makes the game difficult. I would think you're supposed to be moving to higher difficulties when you're like higher levels and stuff and have like good gear, but that's kind of not how we do. We just
you can just be very good at the game as well. There's like a high skill cap in Vermintide.
Really? I would assume that's the case, but the skill cap for me is pull out my melee weapon and just run into the middle of the horde and just kill everything, swinging as fast as I can.
What's your go-to?
I am the only one I've played is the green elf archer person.
Oh, okay.
I don't actually know what the class is called.
She's just the elf.
But
I think you nailed it.
Yeah, exactly. She has a like a magic missile type attack where she shoots out like 6 or 7 arrows that just kill everything.
The skill cap comes a lot where I played the dwarf. Remember the dwarf and the inquisitor? The skill cap comes in where like with your melee attacks you can crowd control. You can hit enemies in certain directions where they stagger back, or you can throw a shove in, and it basically becomes like you need to never get hit on the higher difficulties. You need to do combat in such a way that everyone is always off balance, or you're backing up, and like the best players truly just don't take damage because they are good at blocking and things.
Yeah, I really enjoy how no matter which class you pick, you can equip like any weapon essentially, like any melee weapon, I should say. I think the ranged weapons are all kind of gated by class. So
I think the melee weapons are all gated by class too. You should be getting character specific loot, I think, if I remember, unless maybe it's changed in the last year or whatever.
Because I do every once in a while pull mostly ranged loot for other classes.
Mm-hmm.
But everything two-handed or swords or anything like that, anything that's a melee weapon, I've so far been able to equip anything I've tried to. So
Because I know that different classes will have different like weapons. Like the dwarf can have a shield and a one-handed, or like a big two-handed weapon, I think. And it's been a while. It's been a spell.
yeah, I was rocking double swords for a while, and then I was going with a spear. Right now I'm using a big two-handed glaive.
Very elven,
But,
very stereotypically elven of you.
Yes, yeah,
Swords.
exactly. But yeah, that game's fun.
I fell asleep playing that game with Eads and Warren. And that's maybe more an indictment on me than of the game. But we were playing that game a long time ago now, and I fell asleep and was clearly not helping my team to the extent that I slept for probably 7 minutes, and they had no idea. Except
Just
for
doing
having
their own
moved quite
thing,
far
be like-
away from me.
They finally get to a bridge or one of those elevators where you need the entire party together, and they're like, Brando, where are you?
Yeah, and I was
know.
like wedged. I was like wedged like in between a tree and a cliff, like kind of moving forward, like I had never taken my thumb off the stick. It's like, oh yeah, I was just dealing with some vermin down here. I'll be right up.
Nice.
Searching over here.
But yeah, other than that, I'm still slowly plugging away at Octopath on the stream every so often on Thursdays.
20 years from now, perhaps the game will be done.
Well, we're moving back into the Chapter 4 quests now, because I finished doing all the secret job classes. I unlocked the last of those ones now. So I have the 4 secret job classes, and like just going to the places in the world where you find the caves to unlock these classes. There's a big super boss fight blocking each one of them, and each one of those fights was pretty difficult. I think the one we failed on the most, we failed 3 times, and then every other one we beat on the second time through. But the way the map works in that game is it's like a very, very artistic, stylized overland map, and there's tiny little sections where you can actually walk through what you would think would be a barrier, but it's actually just a artistic path that doesn't really look like a path until you actually start moving through it, and then it becomes somewhat apparent. But I had to look up a guide to find all of the locations, because I tried to go through the game myself and find them, and then once I looked up the guide and saw exactly how hidden they were, I was like, there was 0% chance that I would have found those on a natural playthrough of the game. So I don't know how anybody finds that stuff. Like the Destiny raid thing. Like, I don't know how people figure out the first time through the Destiny raid. I don't know how people found these classes organically. Like, that's just ridiculous.
Maybe they just bought the Prima guide.
Yeah, probably.
Hell yes.
Probably.
Anything else, Kev? Octopath and Vermintide?
And more DDO. I've played a couple more levels. I think I'm level 12 now. So
18 more to go
12,
till
30.
raid.
Almost time. But yeah, that's pretty much all I played.
Oliver J. What have you been doing?
I've been watching Amber play CyberPunk.
On which console?
Original PlayStation 4.
Oh, she can get her money
Yeah,
back.
does she know she's eligible for a refund if she so decides?
Maybe a nudge in that direction.
Does she know that you can no longer buy that game on the PlayStation Store? It is in fact so fucked.
I told her that yeah, it's fucked, and I told her that we could get it returned or whatever. She's like, they're gonna fix it though, right?
By
probably.
February they might. Yeah.
Is that the outlook?
Well, we're kind of bleeding.
You're gonna
into
get
news,
2 big
but-
patches by
Yep.
then.
Big patch for January and then another big patch for February. So who knows? Who knows what'll be working by January? There is
And
a lot to
you two
fix.
have dropped that game and have returned it actually.
I did, yeah. I had
No,
it
I
on
still
Series
have
X and returned it.
Yeah.
I have it on Series X and am keeping it,
Yeah, I think.
but not playing it right now.
Yeah,
Just let it sit on the
I think
shelf.
That's right.
she's still kind of like working at it, but yeah, there have at the point where she's at, it is starting to like show the seams quite a bit.
Yeah. Also,
I imagine that very first part, or the first portion of the game is and they've put into polishing it. Very first portion for her, at least from what I've seen, has been totally okay. But yeah, the further she gets in, I'm sort of starting to see the seams, and yeah, I can see where it's gonna start sucking.
apparently, like Skyrim, it's as the save files get big, they just stop loading.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I
they're
guess
telling
that's
people
the thing.
to go easy on the crafting right now because for some reason crafting makes the save file explode in size.
I will
Maybe-
play that
maybe
game
just pass that
when
on
we
to
no
Amber.
longer. I will play that game when we no longer have to go easy on the crafting.
Yeah, like yes. When they have their like, hey, it's out for real sale, I look forward to buying it on sale and playing it then.
Yeah, the best part of those games is gathering all the crafting materials you need and then never actually crafting them into anything.
That's right.
Does Amber have any
We're
thoughts?
just throwing
Is
them all in
she,
a big room.
or do you have any thoughts on Cyberpunk for what you've seen?
I think it looks really cool. I'm looking forward to playing it once I get my PlayStation 5. But for the most part, she likes it,
Yeah.
and I know she wants to get into it, but she is being deterred by all this news and all the talk about it. So I think she's gonna start going easy until it starts showing a little bit more promise. But that's too
Feeling
bad
crafting.
because this is the first game. This is the first game that she's shown this type of interest in a long time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess that's indicative of how disappointing this game is for everybody.
What are there as many dildos around the world on base PS4? Or did they have to strip some of those out to make it run?
Wow, I don't really.
Is every room
she's playing.
just full of studded dildos on the ground? And
She's
you're like,
playing.
"Ah,
If the
She's playing
answer,
a female character, so
Well,
I imagine.
1,200 rooms. They all got dildos. It's hilarious. The
It's a
person
lot of
who-
dildos.
The person
Like I
who
was
put the
gonna say-
dildos in this game learned the word dildo and thought it was the funniest fucking thing. And what if we just put it everywhere?
it's like the wheels of cheese.
Just like
For
the wheels of
dildos.
cheese. Exactly like the wheels of cheese. Except wheels of cheese everywhere makes sense because you need to eat cheese.
Okay. Well, I'm not following you down this path of inaccuracy. Everybody needs a dildo.
It's disappointing because I know how this game could look, but it definitely doesn't look that way on the game we're playing.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
barely even runs. Barely even runs on the
Yeah.
base consoles. And in a lot of cases, doesn't actually run. It's
You know
very
what finally got me, which is a very me thing, was no like a few graphic glitches and everything, but nothing major in the game. And I was like, well, this isn't bad. But I was already kind of thinking, well, maybe I'll step back just because of the promise that things are going to get bad from pretty much everyone who's talked about it. But it was the moment when I went in and checked, marked as red for all the things in my codec,
Mhm.
and then left, and then came back in, and they were all back to being
Oh,
unread.
Fuck
And I
this.
just fucking turned the power off, and I was like, "We'll get back to this when they fix the important shit."
Well, hell, that's game breaking bug right there. You can't play a game that
Yeah,
Yeah.
tags your stuff as not read when it's been read. That's bullshit.
I know. That's the first thing I do on my phone and my video games is get rid of all the notifications for new shit. I wasn't playing that game.
What's
Fuck
the-
you, CD
importantly-
Projekt Red.
Fuck you, CD Projekt. There's a story coming up in news that CD Projekt go fuck themselves. Not they're not Ubisoft, but
Other
trying.
than that, I debuted my new character in our D&D game last
yeah,
week.
a lot of questions. A lot of people want to know what kind of an accent that was.
I was reaching for Spanish, and I've been practicing the Spanish. It's just because of I started developing that character when we were still in studio, and so I don't know, for some reason, it's harder for me to do it on mic, especially this way. And so I got like cold feet.
Best
And
best
then I'm
tool an
like,
actor has is the other actor.
I guess. But yeah, I got super cold feet as I came in, and I couldn't find that voice. Towards the end, I think I got it, but I'm still working on it. But yeah, it was fun. It's fun playing a new character.
Yeah, we'll be should be playing on Sunday here. Come and meet Vargas. With a V, right? With a V or with an F?
Yeah, V and 2 A's, Matt.
3 A's actually.
3 A's.
Learn your own character. Any other games here we want to bring up part 1, or should we go take a break? All right.
I don't think so.
Let's take a break. My haunted pipes. Oh, I want to tell a story about my haunted apartment before I go. Speaking of my haunted pipes, there's something where we have baseboard heaters in this apartment. So when but thermostats in the suite, so we can control our own heat. But when they turn off, I don't know if it's off or on. One mode is like a real big bang, like the whole pipe is like boo, and it like shakes the whole thing, which I don't know, it's like a clamp. I don't know about plumbing, but anyways. It got like stuck in that banging mode today where it was just like kong, 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 kong. It's actually doing it right now. And so I was playing Destiny. I got up, fucked with the thermostat because I'm like, I wonder if I can, like, maybe if I reset it'll go. Turned it off, turned it on. It actually did fix it, and it stopped doing the banging. When I came back, the Xbox was off. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? I'm like feeling it. I'm like, did it overheat? Did my Xbox overheat while I was gone and turn off? Like, what's happening? And I know for a fact it wasn't the cat because she was sleeping in her little bed. The cables in the back of the Xbox were mysteriously unplugged. The HDMI and the power cord had somehow unplugged themselves between me getting up and going to the thermostat and doing this, and then sticking my head in my room to see if it stopped, and then coming back out in a way that I can not explain. One I could explain. One, like, I moved cables around. It probably was in there loose, but like, I did both the power and the HDMI, which clip in pretty good. They like seed in.
They have that. Cat's
really
fucking
weird.
with you.
I mean,
I was gonna say fucking with me.
I was gonna say I'm definitely on team. The cat did it, regardless of what you last saw.
I'm
them
like
doing
99.9% sure that it was not, because A, she can't get back there. B, it was in the actual, like, she would have had to go to the back of the unit and just have happened to grab onto both those wires and pull them through the actual entertainment unit. Like, it.
I mean, they're cats and wires. Like, I don't think she's going back there with like a plan.
It was a very.
I
She
think
can't
she's
get back
like,
there though. She
fucking
can't.
wires.
It's like
I gotta rip these out of here.
It's a process for her to. It is strategically blocked off. Where if she has to like climb up on 20 different things, if she's going in there, I know, because she has a big ramp. She has to, like a big route she has to go to get in there.
The truth is, she's figured out a discreet way to get in and just doesn't do it around you because she doesn't want it to be.
It was weird. It was one of those moments where I was like, this is completely. I could not explain this. That the cat makes a lot of sense, but it. I am the first one to be like, well, of course, there's a logical explanation for this, but this was a weird. How did they both come like fully unplugged in a way? It was weird.
Must have been a ghost.
I even got back there to be like, well, are they resting on the pipe somehow? And like when the pipe jumped, it like grabbed them but no, I don't know. It's weird.
What's the test that you did, Kevin, at your place? You put dishes on your countertop and then found them in the dishwasher, or vice versa?
I put the dishes on the stove because I moved them from the counter to the stove for reasons. I think I was cleaning off the counter and getting ready to do the dishes. And then I went downstairs and had a shower. And then I came back up planning on doing the dishes. And when I got back upstairs, the dishes were already done. So I'm like, oh, sweet. Ghost did the dishes for me.
It's even like
ghost.
Dishes are even like a thing that you did the dishes and forgot. Makes a lot of sense. More than like I unplugged the fucking cables and forgot. It's like an unnatural. It's not a thing that I would get in there and do. Especially because I was in the middle of a thing in Destiny and I just paused quick and went to. Oh, so weird.
That is weird.
Very strange. Yeah. Trying to apply my electrical high capacitance. What's the one that makes you make the wires jump or something? Let's go for a quick break here, and we'll talk about some CyberPunk, a little bit of news on the other side of this musical break.
I want to believe you,
Couldn't
Matt.
have been. My first thought was, how did the cat do this? Can't have been the cat.
Yeah. You're not going to... So I'm not going to put ghosts ahead of the cat,
I am.
but I could maybe...
Maybe she has
put
abilities.
something else. I could if you want to pitch like
Maybe the cat
random
has.
acts of God,
Maybe the cat has
gravity.
abilities.
maybe. Did you guys see Tenet's out digitally now? You guys gonna watch you
Oh
some
shit!
Tenet?
Now that's out
I think you have to
digitally.
buy it right now.
I mean, I'll pirate it because Chris Nolan can go
Yeah,
fuck
pirate it
himself. But yeah, I'll
Hey.
pirate it and watch Tenet. He can fuck
I have,
himself. He makes good
there's a-
movies, but he's a shithead.
And not like there are layers to his shitheadiness that I agree with. Just not the you should go to movie theaters during COVID layer.
Yes, 250,000 new cases a day. Hi, kitty.
But I am very on board with his, hey, stop sending all movies to streaming platforms and try and keep theaters alive.
Yeah. Maybe one day.
It's fucking jobs, Matthew. I want,
Matt, I just watched,
Johnny Popcorn Scooper to get my money, not fucking Rogers and Bell.
Whoa, that's not even air popped popcorn. You can't be.
Yeah, that's oil pop. What the fuck?
I can't afford an oil popper, nor can my family. You think I wouldn't get a big, giant, theater-sized popcorn machine if I could?
I bet you get a small one. I bet they make stovetop. I bet they totally make a stovetop.
They
And it
might,
just goes
yeah.
on your stove and spins around.
I actually also don't even know.
I have
the
one of
pricing
those.
logistics.
Yeah, it has like a crank handle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an old oil
It
pop.
has
They're,
like gears
uh,
across the top and then to the bottom, which spins. I don't know.
Yeah. They're super annoying though because I find
They jam
that it's impossible to get the stove at just the right temperature that the popcorn pops before the butter turns into like black
I think you're supposed to use
burnt
oil. I don't think
bullshit.
Butter burns
Well, no,
really easily.
it comes with the oil that you're supposed to use with it. So
He uses any kind of oil.
Can you
I
put
don't
butter on
understand
after?
that.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. You pop it in probably like, I don't know, canola
Well, no,
oil or
because
something.
the whole point of it is it mixes with the butter, so you can put the popcorn topping in there, and it will mix with the seeds to get evenly
I don't think
popcorn
that's
topping on all of
I don't
your
think that's
popcorn.
really how popping popcorn works.
That's totally how it works. If you put something on the kernel of popcorn and then it pops, the thing that's on the kernel will end up on the popcorn.
No, it won't. Only if you soak
Why
the
wouldn't
pop
it?
kernel, because the kernel explodes. Have you ever seen a kernel pop at high speed? That thing goes up like a bomb.
No, I have not seen a kernel pop at high speed,
You
but I
should
would
look it up.
assume
It's fucking dope.
that at least some percentage of the
It's
things
really
that you
cool.
put on it would maintain
No.
their
That's
hold.
That's why they put butter on after. Butter and salt. That's why they don't just put popcorn kernels in butter and salt and away you go.
It's popcorn
Butter burns
It's like-
too low.
kernel popping.
You don't cook
slow
the hot
motion.
dog in ketchup.
Exactly. Thank you. I mean, you could.
You could,
And
maybe
and
you
hold
should,
on,
but you
even
don't.
just based on the thumbnail image of this video proves my point completely.
Fuck.
That's touche, Kevin. That's
We
I have
fucked
to get
up
through this
sending them to
ad
the internet.
before.
it's hard to come back from that one. Popcorn popping at high speed is cool. Things that are very fast happening at a speed we can see them at is cool.
Yeah, exactly. You see? So it breaks a hole in the kernel on one side and then pops on
gets
that
in
one
there.
side, but the second side of the kernel maintains its integrity.
Yep.
So
It
you would
becomes
have
a flavor reservoir,
It's like
really.
turning
exactly
inside
a flavor
out, right?
reservoir. But it doesn't
The
turn
shell
completely
isn't going
inside out.
flying.
Such high synergy with the butter. What other buzzwords can we throw in here? Flavor activations. Let's talk about
That's exactly flavor activations.
let's talk
I think
about
that's
some
what Kevin was
Let's
talking
talk about
about.
some news here, gentlemen. Cyberpunk is the story of the week. Whoa. Where to start? Where we are right now, I guess, is Cyberpunk currently not available for sale on the PlayStation Store. And blanket refunds.
Like they took it right down.
That's correct. You can no longer buy Cyberpunk, or currently buy Cyberpunk from the PlayStation Store.
Not even
and
on a 5.
Not even on a 5. No, nowhere on.
damn.
It is the same version of the game. Interestingly enough, one version of the game that I am playing the same version of the game that Amber is playing. That you, Brando, are
is
playing.
that different on Xbox? Or is it
No,
the same thing on Xbox?
it is the same on Xbox. There is only
right,
old
because
versions
they're
of the
working
game.
on that. Yeah, they're working on the new version now,
Yes,
right?
they said new versions
theory.
will come in 2021, or maybe not. Was the quote.
Good.
So who knows? Yes, blanket refunds. We are at a fairly good spot right now, where no matter where you purchase, Sony or Microsoft, you can get a refund. But the path here was tumultuous, to say the least.
I think somebody put up like the statement in the Discord, and I'm pretty sure it said that the refunds were no questions asked until the 21st, which is like the day the podcast comes out, and only 3 days from now.
That's right. And actually, when they posted that, the refunds were not no questions asked. They were just saying that. There were a lot of people who weren't getting refunds, but they have since, and actually, some people still aren't getting refunds, but CD Projekt Red assures everyone they will be refunded, even if it is out of their own pocket, they say. Best Buy is offering refunds for physical copies, which, like, this is all pretty unprecedented. And yeah, they did eventually talk to Sony, it seems like, and work something out where they can now get refunds for them. But, like, what a, holy smokes, what a just...
Was there not a game that like this happened to, that they also started issuing refunds?
Never anything of this scale.
No Man's Sky has kind of become a bit of a comparable, which it isn't in a lot of ways, but I think that was the one that a lot of people were looking back and saying, well, remember when everyone was so excited for this, and then it was so feature lacking that they had to... did they end up offering refunds? I think they did.
I thought No Man's Sky, I don't remember.
They stuck to their guns? I can't really remember either, because I didn't get into No Man's Sky. And No Man's Sky, to be clear, is a very different situation where the game they sent was working, and there was not a lot of people working on it, and the thing that they sent worked. It was just they overhyped what that game would be to a substantial degree, and have since worked very hard to get it to a place where people love that game now. But that's the last thing I can remember where where people were just outraged at the state of a shipped game.
Yeah, Unity, they gave everyone... They did not give refunds, but they gave everyone a old game from the catalog.
Oh, Unity.
Right.
But yeah, it is like... The blanket refunds, especially for physical copies, like this is pretty unprecedented. And a lot of people do wave the like, well, No Man's Sky did it, but remember, that is a team of less than a dozen
No Man's Sky.
working on a game that Sony kind of blew out of proportions for them. Whereas this is a game worked on by thousands for the last decade, and is literally the fastest selling PC game ever made by, like, it is not, they've recouped their development costs already, CD Projekt Red, and then some for this tire fire. So of course they're not shy about offering refunds because they've already made most of their money.
I wonder what percentage of people are actually going to go for the refunds.
I bet it's actually pretty low.
Yeah, I was going to say if 10% returns, that would be like a super high amount.
Because even like, I think only...
I bet you tons of people are buying that game today.
Yeah.
Disc versions, because they just don't know.
And like only like all we're saying, Amber might not even... Right, if you don't play a ton of games, you just see this ad for this huge, massive thing. Like, oh, this looks dope. I'll get this. And like, you maybe aren't offended by your quest NPCs falling through the world and you having to start a new game or something in the way that like a subtitle stuck on my screen just enrages me. It's wild. It is so wild. Like top to bottom, there have been. Sorry to cut you off, Oliver. I'll just finish my thought here. They have gotten out for or put out investor calls where as this has come out, obviously the investors have demand to know what's going on, and like development is coming down on management, is both pointing the fingers at each other, and it is like, for the biggest game in the world, it is kind of incredible that we are here.
You hope this falls on the right people.
It won't.
And all the QC guys are getting shit on, I bet.
Yeah, we did hear out of CD Projekt Red that the company, the devs will allegedly still get their bonuses, not because it used to be tied to a Metacritic score, which they ain't making.
And a release date, I think.
And a release date. So the management has said that devs, despite not making their Metacritic, will still get their bonuses. Which, even if you look into that, is so fucked. How like if you crunched, your manager gave you a token at the end of the week if he felt that you did, or if they felt that you did a bonus worthy job, and then you cash in your tokens at the end for bonuses, which are supposed to have cash value. Like, it is so fucking. What are we doing, CD Projekt Red? Like, what is this? Truly cyberpunk dystopia of like, we're gonna pay in company tokens, and
and it's just like, it's like the whole idea behind incentivizing a group of people to get something done quickly, and expecting that will reflect in the quality. Like, you have to know when you're like, this has got to be out the door by 2020. No ifs, ands, or buts. You have to know that you are giving your development team permission to make a shittier game.
Yeah, and like the development claims, Jason Schreier on Bloomberg, and I don't know who on Kotaku is taking that beat now, but Kotaku and Bloomberg have really good write-ups over the last couple of weeks. There's things have developed, but developers or some of the development team has even gotten out there and said, like, we told management that this thing was broken, but they just said, just put it out anyways. They said, don't worry about it, just put it out. And like, going into how did this get past cert? How did Sony and Microsoft even let this on their consoles? Like, it is it is a developing story, which is
follow the money, Matt.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And like, just on the tail of like, they said they weren't going to crunch when they actively were crunching and had been for years, and CD Projekt Red has lost a lot of the goodwill they had with, being the developers of The Witcher and the founders of GOG, which is this DRM-free place, right, where they very much pitch like, oh, we give better cuts to developers. There's no DRM. You don't have to worry about the anti-piracy stuff fucking up your game. Which we might as well just roll right into this.
And they had a huge positive following about their post-release support and everything with what they had done with The Witcher. In terms of the DLC, as well as even just making that game better than it was when trying to transform Geralt from a drunk baby to something meaningful to control, like actual gameplay changes to make that game better well after it released. And I remember everyone talking about how great CD Projekt Red was about that stuff, and now I don't know if, from an image standpoint, CD Projekt Red ever recovers from this, because this is just an unprecedented fuck up.
And let me hit you with this. So, speaking of GOG, there is a Taiwanese horror game. It's called Devotion, and China does not recognize Taiwan as a place that exists. So, the thought that maybe this Taiwanese horror game, which it turns out does feature content that mocks is it Xi Jinping? I don't even know how to say that dictator's name. Not too worried about it. The guy who looks like Winnie the Pooh.
Oh yeah.
So anyways, this game was going to go up on Steam. They found there was content in it that mocked Winnie, and China review bombed it, as you do. Game was pulled from Steam. Finally found a home on GOG. It was this big success story of like, oh, our game, we're going to go over to GOG where they don't care, yada yada yada. CD Projekt Red this week, it would be last week if you're listening to this on the podcast Monday, has announced they will not be hosting the game on GOG. They said, and I'm quoting, after receiving many messages from gamers, we have decided not to list the game in our store. Excuse me? The outcry against GOG hosting this Taiwanese horror game, you got so many messages from gamers.
Oh, they got
fuck with China.
Unlike,
probably from all those same people in China who complained and got it pulled from Steam.
There are games that go up on GOG every single day that they get messages being like, I can't believe you guys are posting this fucking shit game, blah, blah, how dare you? Like, are you fucking kidding me? And then to just come out and say directly to our faces, we the gamers, hey, we heard you guys, we're not going to have Devotion on it. Fuck Taiwan. Like, fuck
but
you,
I mean, why
was Red.
Why was it pulled from Steam? Isn't that the same situation? Shouldn't we be saying fuck Steam as well?
Oh, Ben has fuck Steam. Absolutely. Steam has been a bad player in this space for a decade. GOG until recently was this like it was the it was the Switzerland. It was where everyone just came to get along. There was no DRM. There was better rates for developers. It was the good guys game store. You could feel good about buying off GOG.
That crazy program out of socialist Europe.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, the guys who made I love The Witcher, and they support developers. Hell yeah, fuck off. The part that the not listening to the game is obviously the issue, but the part where they just flat out look us in the eyes and are like, "We heard you. You're welcome." Like, go fuck yourself.
He's probably tapping on their desk like, "I'm in danger."
Yeah, blink twice. Yeah, it's gross. Companies are companies. Always remember, the CEO and CFO of these big companies who get their $1 million bonuses when these huge games come out don't actually give a fuck about you or the people that work under them. They just have to say they do, because if they're like, fuck these guys, then
That's exactly it. Because they have that carrot on a stick that's their bonuses, and they have to hit that date. And sure as shit, somebody got in a ton of shit for even delaying it for the 2 months or whatever just recently. But then once they hit that date and it's released and it's selling like fucking crazy, yeah, the guys who are owed the bonuses get their bonuses, and then everything's happy, and then they're like, well, we'll patch it for you guys.
We did it again.
And then
pop the champagne
business
bottles.
is business.
It's the reason why so many of these CD Projekt Red kind of almost lies about stuff until they get caught, right? It's like, oh, we're not crunching, and then it came out that actually you have been crunching for years, and it's like, oh, did we? Well, yeah, they always lie to you and treat you like an idiot until you catch them, and then they're like, oh, well,
we
geez.
fucked up. We heard you.
Yeah, we heard you.
Yeah, we heard your outcry.
So yeah, that's CD Projekt Red, and I am very interested to play CyberPunk when it comes out. I'm very interested. It'll be interesting to. I don't know. That game seemed like a new Deus Ex, and maybe not the greatest, most complex series of systems to ever come into existence. It doesn't seem like it might be all that and then some, to me, anyways. But we'll find out in 2025. Who knows?
Yeah. What did you guys say?
But it's the biggest game in the world.
Patches January and February, and February
Whatever that
should
means.
be. Hey, we're okay.
They
that
said they have 2 big ones in January and February, and then they said there'll be a bunch of little stuff that they do too. But if your game is broken enough that you have 2 scheduled patches like their DLC content, then probably best to wait until those 2 and see where we're at.
Yeah, the thought that no, after February it'll be flawless. No, they're gonna do what they can. What they really mean is we have a date in January, and we're gonna put everything we have done into it, and then we have another one in February because we're not gonna get it all done. We put everything that we still have to finish into that February one, which we'll probably.
You feel especially bad for the QA guys and the development team, who probably just had this day marked on their calendar. If not the day that they were done with this stupid project that they've been working on for 8 years, at least the day that the workload should come down significantly. And then you get here and it's like, all right, we got to hit it harder than ever for the next month to get this January thing out. And then we got to hit it harder than ever to get the February one out.
Especially after a lot of those developers are probably just told you. We were saying this before this game came out, but here we are now.
A little bit of insight into that world. I don't know, Matt, if you've talked about this before, but there used to be triage meetings at BioWare when so they would have a screen full of the reported bugs or whatever, and then the leads would triage what was bad and what could be what's the word that they used?
Non-shippable?
Deliverable or shippable, yeah.
Non-shippable, yeah.
Yeah, it was a term that they knew about this bug, but hey, that's totally okay. We can ship it. And so, yeah, I imagine January date for that first big patch is like, okay, these are this is the date that we have to hit all these ones that are in the red as far as this triage goes, and then that second one, and then we can push everything to that second date. So yeah, you guys are absolutely right about how that is handled. But yes, the QA guys, I'm sure, are just fucking steam coming out of their ears, and they're getting so much pressure on to and all this stuff and report it, and I imagine, or get somebody to fix it. And yeah, these are like the high school kids or whatever getting paid minimum wage in socialist Europe, which I think is high. But,
we say socialist Europe like it's like socialist is this like derogatory thing, like not like capitalist America, which is just doing super fucking well. Back in our day, Oliver, we had the red bugs. Allegedly, Sony and Microsoft told us that if you do not fix these, this game cannot be on our platform. And I guess we didn't have the Witcher clout to swing around because CD Projekt Red somehow got I don't remember what it's called. Got like an agreement
that's
to like
crazy.
Yeah, we're gonna ship these bugs, but we'll totally have them fixed by launch.
Well, maybe they did fix all the red bugs.
That's kind of crazy.
Now these
because
are all the yellow ones or whatever.
Well, unless cert has fallen to shit, because it used to be anything that stopped the player from completing the game was not allowed. Anything that is game breaking and stops you from physically finishing the game, not allowed. There are like dozens of those in Cyberpunk, dozens on dozens on dozens, in a way that the cert system completely failed. Why we don't even have it.
It must, right? Because when you talk about like Witcher clout, I imagine BioWare had fucking just a shit ton of Mass Effect clout, and if this certification was stopping BioWare from shipping a broken Dragon Age or whatever, if this certification process is allowing CD Projekt Red to release this game in this form, yeah, like something's broken there, obviously, with the certification process at least.
It's top to bottom, very, very fucked up.
Yeah.
I got a little bit of other news here. This one very brief. Riot has confirmed they're making a League of Legends MMO, which I think we sort of knew about. I think because they announced a while ago, like, hey, we're making a bunch of games, and here's loose commitments, like a fighting game and a single-player game, and I think MMO was maybe one of those mentioned.
But blowing out the universe.
Yep, they very casually, the VP of Riot over Twitter is like, hey, we're making an MMO. Buckle up. And I got a few more details on this alleged Red Dead remaster. Capital A alleged, these details. These come from 4chan, so pretty much as unconfirmed as you can get.
That's very alleged.
It's true, but they line up with a lot of the rumors we've been hearing, so a lot of good sense here. Rockstar Games reportedly working on a single-player DLC for Red Dead Redemption 2. That makes a lot of sense. The DLC was supposed to be announced at the Game Awards, but was delayed. Will be revealed soon around Christmas or New Year's. Also makes a lot of sense. Planning to release it alongside a remaster of Red Dead 1. The DLC, this is specific enough. This is why I believe it here. The DLC takes place between 1912 and 13. Only the new portions of the Red Dead 2 map, along with Blackwater, Tall Trees, West Elizabeth, are accessible. No New Austin or New Paradiso. And it takes place following John's death. Sadie and Charles head back to Beecher's Hope.
Whoa!
Who's?
John Marston, who dies in the first game.
Spoilers,
in Red Dead Redemption. As you were doing that, I felt the bottom of my stomach drop out where I'm like,
oh no.
Shit. It's like I thought I just said the end of Mandalorian in a way. I take spoilers very seriously, and you just, you got me. Jack, Sadie, and Charles, all playable. Jack sucks. Jack isn't playable in free roam for the first half of the game, but you do play as him in missions after a big halfway event. So,
I just got it.
Dummy.
Dummy.
Makes a lot of sense. And the final point that they included is there are a lot of great stranger missions in store, which sounds dope because that was some of my favorite stuff from Red Dead 2 with those little side stories. That'd be dope. I would love to play some single player DLC for Red Dead Redemption 2. Especially if it has some kind of a next gen little. Hey, look, it runs real nice on these new boxes now. Maybe.
Yeah, give you an excuse to play through it again.
Oh, it's so good. Warren was playing through it. I saw.
That game didn't run terribly, did it? That
No,
game
it-
ran
oh.
actually pretty
No,
Yeah,
it was
ran
fucking
really well.
good.
It ran fine, but on
It wasn't
like
even. It wasn't even particularly buggy for a game of that size.
yeah, it was like technically
Mm-hmm.
pretty sound. It looked good. It has the potential to look amazing. Like on PC, Red Dead Redemption 2 is
Mm.
still just like jaw dropping, and I bet will look really really good on those new boxes. I'd love to play some more Red Dead. Oh, it's
I can't believe they
Yeah.
made that game. Like even just playing what we've played of Cyberpunk with how long that game was in development,
Mhm.
it's fucking crazy to think that they made Red Dead Redemption
yeah.
the way
Yeah.
that they did, and that's not to like they
Mhm.
would have been crunching like motherfuckers as well, but it just kind of blows your mind how they pulled that whole thing together in such a flawless way. And Cyberpunk, which at least from when it was announced was in development way longer than what I thought Red Dead 2 was, and for it to come out so clean on the other end and Cyberpunk be literally unplayable is crazy.
Yeah, that's a good point. Red Dead 2 is this like sprawling
Yeah.
thing, this like series of systems that does a pretty good job of holding together. Actually, it's very surprising they have. Wait, did they do? They did do single player DLC for Red Dead Redemption 1. It was the Halloween stuff. What are the Undead Nightmare,
Mhm.
which was a
Undead
little
Nightmare.
like it was a little zany, but was super good. All their single player DLC, all the Rockstar single player DLCs have been. I'm trying to make sure I've played them all. I think I have. What have they even done?
Lots
Like
Alligator
they don't do a
Tony.
lot. I
Grand
didn't
Theft
do.
Auto.
Ballad of Gay
Yeah,
Tony
I didn't do
Tony,
anything
which was very good.
in GTA 5. I didn't do anything if there was anything.
Yeah, I don't know if they're. I sort of fell off GTA 5.
I don't
I know they did the
I don't
heists
think
and stuff,
GTA
but that's
5 had
obviously
any-
different.
I don't think I got any story stuff.
I don't think they did.
That's exciting. I look forward to that. Hopefully, we hear something soon. Christmas or New Year's, they say.
Is there a date for that?
The announcement is alleged to come before the end of the year,
Oh,
so I'm sure we'll get. Is Rockstar? We don't know what
It's
they're
almost
doing right
now.
now, right? Grand Theft Auto, probably.
I always assume
probably.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, I was trying to think of like, oh, they'll probably, you know, in the summer they'll have a new thing to announce, and that's when you release it. But
there's always the underlying Bully sequel
yes,
that everybody always
Yes.
hopes for.
Always, yeah, always in people's minds.
Table Tennis 2!
Yeah, table tennis.
Podcast at talkingreckless.com is an email address. You can write in here to the show, or you can drop these on our Discord, which you can find by going to talkingreckless.com and just click on the Discord button. I'll do a last little check here of the email. It's usually pretty clear. I think it was clean this morning when I looked. Yeah, we're all good there. Swing past the old Discord here. But I think we were pretty much locked down. I think we pretty much solved every issue. We did our biggest disappointments last week. Yep. Yeah, no.
Oh shit! Biggest disappointments in what?
Everything. It was not just gaming.
Of the year? It was
of
Cyberpunk.
life. The question started with, so many people disappointed in the state of Cyberpunk. Made me wonder what some of the disappointments
yeah.
y'all have been into.
Fuck.
2020. My adult life. So on and
Last
so forth.
episode of Mandalorian.
Okay.
That
Okay.
takes too hard for this
Game of
podcast.
Thrones.
No, I
Game
like
of
it.
Thrones,
I
for
like
real.
it. Oh
That's what I
yeah,
should have said
that's a
last
good one
week.
actually.
Star Wars
Yeah,
9.
Game of
I
Thrones.
bet
That's a
you
good one.
Podcast.
Star Wars 9
talkingreckless.com.
this year.
No, it wasn't this year.
No.
The question was not limited to only this year.
Oh.
And also Star
Oh,
Wars
I
9
see.
was not this year.
That's what I
Wait,
thought.
was it? No, it was last
Time-
year.
Time has been weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Podcast, talkingreckless.com, the email address. You can drop us some thoughts or questions.
COVID's been pretty disappointing.
Yeah, COVID has been very disappointing. As is this, unfortunately, the New Year's show. We are going to delay it. I am making the decision here to delay indefinitely, which does not mean forever. Just means I don't know how long. We're going to delay it until we can get back in
Usually
studio.
does.
Until we can get back in studio and record. We just can't do the way we do our dumb game of the year show. It would not make sense to do it online. It would be completely unlistenable and probably impossible to record. So we
My
will.
list is done.
Possible to get like conversations in.
Yeah, even like it's hard enough here with 4 people. Imagine trying to do it with
Mm-hmm.
twice that many, and the nature of those shows. So I don't know when exactly. It'll kind of depend on when our vaccine's out and things. But look for or listen for news on that. I'll let you know as soon as I have things figured out. Gonna take next week off, which I said I think at the top of the show, so be no podcast or D&D or anything for the next week. But it's Christmas, so hopefully you got some holidays of your own. Spend them safe. I implore you. Don't let parents or family bully you into doing something unsafe. Don't let them make you feel like you have to go home or do that kind of stuff.
Follow doctor's orders.
Follow doctor's orders. That's right. And check out the Patreon over at Oliver Has a Thought over at patreon.com/talkingrecklesspodcast.
Speaking of takes too hot for the podcast,
Hit us with it,
here
Oliver.
it comes.
No, I have a question about your scheduling, but that can wait till after.
Okay. Off-air question.
Definitely too hot for the show.
Internet podcasts are hard. Take care of yourselves. Over Jake, Kevin B, Brandon
you.
L. Thank you very much for joining me. You at home, thanks so much for listening. Thanks for sticking with these weird times, especially if you're a Patreon supporter. I know things have been a little stop and start over there, but the anime podcast is bumping along, so go and enjoy that. To you at home, thank you very much for listening. We'll see you here next week. We'll see you here the week after next week.
Ooh.
Make sure you stay safe over these holidays, and if you can, stay sane. We'll see you here.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, yes. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. I think Hanukkah might almost be over by now. And all the rest of the celebrations. We'll see you here closer to the new year on the next episode of the Talking Reckless podcast.